I want to put those two photographs of this person of interest back up because, John, I mean, looking at these two photos, I would think somebody must recognize this person.
If you didn't know him and you passed him in the street, maybe without the hat and glasses, you probably wouldn't. But if you did know him, there's a pretty good chance you would. And we've seen that in many cases where people familiar with the person just say, I know who that is.
I also want to show, I believe we have a photo from the roof which show a footprint. Is this the photo that you...
So that's a photo of that position, and right there you can see the law enforcement markers at each spot. But what you can see is where it appears somebody was laying down. There's, the impressions of where the foot would have been, where the palms would have been as they extended that rifle out. It's
actually an imprint in gravel, essentially, of the body position of a shooter.
Exactly. And this won't particularly aid in identifying the person. Now, there's always the possibility, that you could extract DNA if he had an ungloved hand off of there. But it does help establish the crime, the place where the crime took place. When they get a suspect, the measurements may help. But the big deal today is they have a gun. The gun is likely connected to the crime. The bullet that was fired from that gun came from a shell casing that remained in the chamber. He never, after seeing that shot, ejected the shell casing.
I got to just jump in.
Sure.
I understand we have some new pictures of the person of interest from the Utah Public Safety. These are other images. We'll try to blow those up a little bit more, but we are just getting these in now.
And what you glean from these photos is the rifle isn't in the picture, but now you get a clearer picture of the backpack. And we learned from the Thomas Crook's attempt to kill Donald Trump in Pennsylvania, you can disassemble the rifle. You can put the parts in a backpack and assemble it, when you're on site on that roof and take that shot.
So, John Pistol joining us as well. The assumption is then that a rifle would have been disassembled in that backpack and brought up, if that is in fact the killer.
Yeah, that's right, Anderson. And the whole idea is, what can the FBI do to establish that rifle that was found to the shooter in this case, based on whatever forensic evidence that they have gleaned from that. The palm print, okay, but what do you compare a palm print to? It's not like fingerprints for driver's license or passports or things like that. They'll also be looking for things, any digital evidence. Was there anything clearly on the web or perhaps on the dark web where this individual, whoever he is, indicated plans or planning or ideas, aspirational even, about wanting to commit some type of act that would be noteworthy? And then the question is, after 24 hours, as was mentioned earlier, the odds of finding somebody, a suspect like this, go down after 24 hours somewhat dramatically. And so it becomes more and more of a challenge. And to find the gun, that's great. To find any physical evidence, that's helpful. But what ties this individual into whoever he is, how is he identified, and then what can be done to locate him once he is identified? And so family and friends, they're seeing this and they've got to be thinking, oh, I can't believe this has happened, but we've got to notify the authorities, and whether it's for the $100,000 reward or not. But right now, person of interest is not helping anybody other than trying to locate this individual.
Brianna, what stands out to you so far based on the statements of investigators, what's out there?
Yeah, well, quite a lot of information actually has been released. It's surprising that they haven't been able to get some leads on the photos, but there are some pieces that we can glean from this. One is the photo that's been released shows a flag emblem on the shirt that this suspect is wearing. I think that's pretty interesting, actually, either that he was wearing that to be able to fit in with this crowd at the rally, or that shirt was allegedly sourced from a wounded veteran foundation. So it could speak to perhaps his background or maybe even a motive. Additionally, I think the shell casings are going to be extremely useful in the next few hours and days. They're submitting those in a NIBIN that takes a couple days. It's like matching fingerprints, but with shell casings. That takes a little while, but with that, they're going to be able to see if that weapon was used in any other crimes across the nation, and that will hopefully lead police a little closer to that person of interest.
John Miller, I mean, as John Pistol was saying, I mean, is time on the side of the investigators here?
You know, time floats in these things. And what I mean by that is when we had Cesar Sayoc, the bomber who was sending pipe bombs, including to CNN across New York City, that went on for a number of days where we had nothing. And then literally at 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 leads came together, and then we had a name, we had a face, we had an address, we had a vehicle. With Luigi Mangione, we woke up that day with nothing, and then somebody spotted him in a McDonald's, and police came, and then we had a name, we had a suspect, and we had a murder weapon in a backpack. These things can turn on a dime. So the fact that they've put these pictures out, and now they put more pictures out, is to generate that lead bucket and make sure it's always full with calls coming in, because odds are, with this amount of exposure and this amount of resource, one of these is going to pan out.
Yeah, I mean, anybody, given the skill that this person had to make that shot, somebody who knows this person seeing this photo, I mean, that's another piece.
That was not his first time shooting.
Right.
Somebody's going to know that in his background.
Right, and clearly there's probably, I mean, John Pistol, there may be a gun range where this person has practiced that would even identify this person.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like from the movies or something where let's go to the gun range, and obviously tracing the gun, as Brianna was referring to, where was that gun acquired? Was it purchased legally? Was it acquired in the black market? And the other thing that they would look at is how they can pursue this, identifying this person through all other means. So not only the physical evidence, the digital evidence, the dark web, as I mentioned, the neighborhood canvas, has anybody seen this person? But also, is this a trigger for some other person to use as a basis for taking some act that they think, okay, this is the start of what I wanted to do, or we wanted to do, whether formally affiliated or just, again, thinking this, okay, this is the start of it. And this guy shot and killed Charlie Kirk, so I'm going to go and do something else, which I think, unfortunately, then leads to what you might get into later in terms of, are we going to see more virtual appearances rather than in-person appearances? And I imagine that would be the case for people who are wanting to appear in public up until a situation like this.
John Pistol, let me ask you, you were the president of Anderson University in Indiana for 10 years. I mean, it's kind of a ridiculous, I mean, a question I probably wouldn't have asked a couple days ago, but are outdoor political events, whether on college campuses or elsewhere, just too difficult to secure unless there is a presidential level protection?
Yeah, unless the person is bringing their own security package, whether as a top-ranking politician, president, VP, or speaker, or something like that, campus security cannot set up checkpoints. Any campus, however large or wealthy, absent a amazing undertaking of investment of resources.
Because I mean, Charlie Kirk had, I mean, his security, I was looking at the videos, they certainly seemed to know what they were doing. They were scanning the crowd. It looked like it was a close protection detail because a lot of them, rushed in right away. They got him into that SUV. They weren't waiting around for an ambulance. They seemed to know, how to keep a close protection detail. But unless, and we're told by the university, there were 6 university police, also assigned to this event. But there were thousands of people there, and clearly no one on the roofs.
Right, and so you don't have, like in Butler, PA, you don't even have the Secret Service and the local police who are not coordinating as well as they should have, as the lessons learned. So here we have a good close package of security, but anything from a distance, obviously just not effective, and fatally so for Charlie Kirk.
Yeah. Brianna, I mean, if it is true that the words and phrases were scrawled on the rifle and ammunition, what does that tell you?
Well, this is a throwback in a way to what we saw even just with the Luigi Mangione killing in New York City, where there were notes inscribed on the shell casing. So all of this leads us to think that this is an ideological shooter, and that sort of fits the profile that we're seeing with several shootings, these politically motivated shootings these days, which are increasing frequently by the day. So one thing that we notice about ideological shooters, they tend to be younger in age, 20s and 30s. They tend to have a lot of experience with weapons. They tend to be loners, and they tend to really premeditate their crimes. Not perfectly so. I am confident that law enforcement will catch up with the shooter, but they do put a lot of energy into it because it's almost like a calling for them. They're fighting for some ideological reason.
Brianna Fox, thanks very much. John Pistol as well. John Miller.
Been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing.